Rumours linking Olympique Marseille's defensive midfielder Boubacar Kamara with a move to Manchester United are garnering more and more momentum in the last days of the winter transfer window. Reports around the globe are linking the French youngster with a move to Old Trafford, and in this video, I'll look at his skill set, his qualities and weaknesses, as well as how his arrival will shape our midfield, not only in the second part of the season, but also in the next couple of years. I'll be comparing Kamara's stats to Rodri from Manchester City and Jorginho from Chelsea, both players I consider as the current gold standard in the Premier League as far as defensive midfielders are concerned, as well as Portuguese star Ruben Neves, another player heavily linked with a move to Old Trafford. Next, I'll explore how a move for Kamara might change our midfield and how he could work synergically with the midfielders we currently have, as well as future midfield arrivals. With Donny van de Beek potentially on the way out on loan with Crystal Palace, the latest club to be linked with the Dutch midfielder, Ralf Rangnick may have an empty midfield spot to fill soon. In the past few Premier League games against Brentford and especially against West Ham United, where we completely controlled the midfield, Ralf Rangnick chose a 4-3-3 formation with Scott McTominay occupying the number 6 role, with Bruno and Fred playing as number 8s or mezzalas either side of him. So Manchester United would be making a smart move if they could move Van de Beek on loan to bring in a defensive midfielder. The reason being that while he is a good player, Van de Beek simply doesn't fit the system. He isn't a defensive midfielder, and both Solskjaer and Rangnick have preferred McTominay and Fred over the Dutchman. And he isn't gonna play as a number 10 either, because Bruno is, and rightly so, the preferred option. So it makes sense to let Donny van de Beek get some playtime somewhere else. With Kamara, our midfield options will look like this: Kamara and Matic as defensive midfield options, with Bruno, Pogba, McTominay and Fred as mezzalas or number 8 options. Our midfield in the next few weeks could be Kamara as a number 6, then Bruno and McTominay as number 8. And once Pogba gets back, then he could slot in place of McTominay, if his form of course justifies it. But the key thing here is that Manchester United's midfield will be much more balanced, with 6 midfield options for 3 spots, 2 defensive options and 4 attacking options. While we got that out of the way, let's ask the key question here: is Boubacar Kamara good enough to play for Manchester United? First, it is worth noting that Boubacar Kamara has played the lowest number of minutes compared to the other midfielders featured in this video, with just 1,374 minutes played. This, however, won't really affect the points I'm trying to make, because as you'll see, he comfortably belongs in the company of the world's elite defensive midfielders. The first area we'll focus on is passing. With a pass completion rate of 89.9%, Kamara ranks second behind Rodri and far higher than Ruben Neves, who many football fans praise for his passing prowess. He ranks last for key passes. These are passes that directly lead to a goal-scoring opportunity, with just 13. However, this is taking in consideration the fact he played less minutes than his counterparts. Despite this, he is still just 2 key passes away from equaling Rodri's contribution at City. He actually tops the list when considering key passes per 90, a much more accurate and fairer metric. He does rank low in goal creation actions per 90 with just 0.07 actions, which is far lower than Jorginho's GCA per 90, which is at 0.35. However, this could be due to various factors such as tactics or the quality of his teammates at Marseille. Now let's look at the defensive stats. The main job of a defensive midfielder is to shield the defense by winning the ball back, either through tackles or interceptions. Well, Kamara has a very high tackle success rate at 52.4%, slightly lower than Rodri, but way higher than Ruben Neves and Jorginho's. He also ranks the highest in successful presses, with a success rate of 41.2%, much higher than Rodri, Neves and Jorginho. Additionally, he ranks second in terms of interceptions per 90, just behind Jorginho. He also has the second highest rate of aerial duels won. Quite impressive. One last stat that could be a real value here is his low miscontrol stat, a stat that shows how often a player fails to control the ball, resulting in the opposition gaining possession back. This is a key stat because it shows how much of a liability a player is for his own team. Manchester United's key weakness has been their inability to assert control over the midfield, and Fred especially has been guilty of losing control of the ball far too often in the heart of our midfield. Well, Kamara only miscontrolled the ball 7 times, a very standard number. Fred? Well, Fred is at 22. No wonder we haven't been able to control games in midfield in a very long time. So, What these stats show is that Kamara is more than capable of filling the number 6 role for Manchester United. I believe that due to his age, he could be a great asset to the team in the short and long term. He still has a lot to learn, but he will undoubtedly provide much needed quality in our midfield. He would be a much better signing than Ruben Neves or Amadou Haidara, for instance, and he could still improve dramatically over the next few years. He's young enough to absorb everything Ralf Rangnick throws at him, while being old enough and composed enough to play such a key role for a big club like Manchester United.